Thanks, Ari, and thanks to all the other wonderful speakers. Thanks for taking the time out to come and share your knowledge with the rest of us. It's been very insightful. Just thanks everyone for coming today. It's great to see so many brave people come out and support something that really affects all of us, whether we realise it or not. Cannabis prohibition does affect all of us. For those who don't know, there are a difference, I'm sure most of you do know, but there is a difference between industrial hemp, which is grown for manufacturing purposes, and cannabis that's grown for medicinal or recreational use. So industrial hemp is varieties of cannabis sativa which grow high very fast, and it's low in THC. Like Teresa said, you can't get high from industrial hemp. It grows in most climates, is drought resistant, requires little to no fertiliser, pesticides or herbicides, and it does enrich the soil that it's grown in, so it leaves it in good condition for any plants or crops that are planted afterwards. So even if it's not grown to be used for its fibres, you know, it's positive benefits for the soil and the environment. It also produces oxygen and absorbs as much CO2 as it gives off when it's burned. So all these elements come together to mean that cannabis is a really useful, clean and natural renewable cycle. Hemp, as we know, makes high quality paper, clothing, building materials, insulation, oil, nutritious seeds and more. And since cannabis prohibition enacted, the subsequent processes used to make such products, including plastics, tree pulp paper, even cigarettes and pharmaceuticals, require the use of a myriad of harmful chemicals which are toxic to us humans, animals and the environment. It's madness that we can't use this resource to serve basically all our human needs. Why do we resort to such harmful processes? Cannabis for medicinal and recreational use is cannabis sativa or cannabis indica, or can be a hybrid of all kinds. And the range of cannabis strains is literally in tens of thousands. So, you know, each strain, depending what you're smoking, is going to affect you differently. So there are different strains of cannabis that are suitable to you as an individual. So sometimes if you hear of someone who had a negative experience with cannabis, perhaps it wasn't a very high quality product they were using, or perhaps it just wasn't suitable for their personal needs. So the effects of sativa are more mind-based, they're better for daytime use, and the effects are stimulating, uplifting, creativity enhancing. I'm sure the musicians and artists here can vouch for that. It also eases depression, pain, headaches, migraines, reduces nausea and stimulates appetite. Indica has a higher level of CBD, which is cannabidiol. This is something that doesn't get mentioned as much as THC. Cannabidiol has very strong medicinal benefits. It doesn't get you stoned as such, or it gets you more stoned. It's more of a body stone than a head high. So that's why indicas are really useful for medicinals. It's also an antipsychotic, interestingly enough, and an analgesic compound, meaning its pain relieving and inflammatory benefits are huge. Indicas reduce pain, relax muscles, relieve muscle spasms, reduce inflammation, assist in sleep, anxiety and stress, eases nausea and stimulates appetite again. These therapeutic elements combine to give the body the necessary tools it uses to heal. So instead of covering up side effects or covering up symptoms, it actually helps your body to heal itself and actually attack the cause of the problem. And that's how they keep you coming back to the pills, because they only work for a little bit and then you need more and more. So we know that cannabis in all of its forms has massive benefits. There is no doubting that it helps thousands of people every single day relax, enjoy life and manage and overcome a variety of illnesses, the list of which is enormous. A few of them are asthma, glaucoma, diabetes, skin conditions, infections, ulcers, insomnia, epilepsy, chronic pain, Alzheimer's, arthritis, spinal injuries, post-traumatic stress disorder. Many troops have vouched for cannabis as a healing for post-traumatic stress. How can we deny them something that they admit works? If they have served us all and we honour them, shouldn't we honour them with giving them the choice for their medicine? Natural medicine. Anorexia as well, PMS, which I have experienced is very helpful with. Ladies, anyone? No? HIV, AIDS, ADD, IBS and multiple sclerosis. Oh, also Tourette's syndrome. I've seen it have amazing effects on people suffering serious Tourette's syndrome tics. It's really unbelievable, the change that it makes. Crohn's disease, Parkinson's and cancer. So it really is endless. I could go on all day. I'll spare you. It gives us the chance to medicate safely with a natural treatment that is non-toxic, non-addictive and with minimal side effects. And we know what these side effects are. It is our body, it should be our choice what goes in it. The person you see on my t-shirt, you may have seen him, you may have not. He's my dear friend and fellow activist Mark Emery. He has inspired me to get involved in the cannabis movement and to come and speak to you today. Mark Emery is a Canadian and he's serving a 5-year prison sentence in a US federal prison for his legalisation advocacy. Mark still has 31 months to go before he can return to his home of Vancouver, Canada. When Mark was arrested in Canada on behalf of the US government, the head of the US DEA said he was arrested for his legalisation activities and never once mentioned that his so-called offence was selling cannabis seeds through the mail to American adults. All the money Mark made, he poured back into the cannabis movement. So that's through his seed selling business. He didn't profit, he actually poured it all back to sponsor events like today and also to help people suffering legal hardships due to these bad laws. Does that sound like someone that needs to be in prison? No. Mark has been trying to get cannabis re-legalised for over 30 years. There's many documentaries, interviews and information online such as YouTube that can tell you Mark's story, as well as the history of cannabis prohibition and the truth about cannabis. After 50 years of worldwide persecution, 30 million people worldwide have been arrested for cannabis. 12 million of those have spent time in jail on such charges. Cannabis prohibition is an evil that ruins families, fills jails, creates black market gangs and organised crime, and wastes billions of taxpayer dollars. It sees sick and dying people perpetually and needlessly suffer, and it prevents balanced education and the ability to make informed decisions, like if and what cannabis is suitable for you. If people had access to information that could help them make these decisions, we'd see, a much healthier community and a lot less fear amongst the community. It prevents access to secure resources for those who need support. So anyone who does suffer any problems with cannabis, if it is causing problems with them in their lives, they should have access to safe resources where they're not turned into a criminal and punished for their choices, but instead are helped and given honest education to help them through. Prohibition creates an unsafe environment and it leaves no standard or quality for produce. So you don't know what you are getting. Prohibition punishes us for the use of a plant that has proven health benefits, that is the inspiration for endless great films, music and art. Many of the world's greatest artists, writers and entrepreneurs have attributed their success in part to using cannabis. Cannabis use brings about in the user a questioning of the status quo, a reflection of views and inspired originality. It is a plant that is safer than alcohol, cigarettes and prescription medication, that can heal our bodies and minds and can provide for virtually all of our human needs. And it can heal our earth. What good did this mass cruelty known as prohibition extended for 3 generations accomplish that was good? Nothing. In Canada and the US, a majority of citizens surveyed in polls want cannabis legalised. Public awareness, acceptance and interest in cannabis is growing, and it won't stop. Activist groups and protests are happening all over the world. There is an awakening amongst us. I can feel it. Can you feel it? So what must we do? What should we do? We must come together. We must encourage and inspire each other. And we must empower ourselves with the knowledge and insight to survive this oppressive prohibition regime. You must take action. Get informed. Educate our fellow citizens. We must be brave and show that we are determined and courageous. Tell your family, tell your friends, and speak to the powerful. Explain how prohibition diminishes us all, how the punishments of cannabis crimes are far more damaging to individuals than use of the herb itself. Tell everyone how cannabis hemp has been used for thousands of years as a safe, natural and renewable resource for fibre, paper, clothing, oil, food, leisure and medicine. We must revive this valuable resource. We must end cannabis prohibition. Join us and do something to make it happen. Peace!